Here we are.
Hello.
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 Okay, Brian, before we do the to-do list, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I will just tell you that my plan, since I'm sure you're just going to kind of be going through this step by step.
Yeah.
My plan right now is I'm going to be writing as you do such. And I kind of want to map out just the character trajectories and figure out where they're going to interact because, like I said, it gets pretty dense here. So I want to make sure I follow along and make sure it makes sense from a story standpoint.
So what I'm going to do, just because I think it's easier than me describing what I wrote, I'm just going to read these. And then if I feel like something needs a little more explanation or something just like stands out and I want to talk a little more about it, I want to unpack it, then...
I love unpacking.
I know you do. Then I'll do so. Otherwise, I'm just going to read this like we did in episode 1.
Cool.
Okay, Epitaph to-do list. Oof, this coffee.
Did you have a cough button over there?
No, I'm burping
Did
quietly.
very quietly.
Burping quietly, Brian.
Yeah, sounds great. It's the alternate name for this podcast or this show.
Burping quietly. Yeah, that's what people want to watch, right? They want to watch a guy burping quietly.
Yeah, how quiet was he? Turn it up.
ASMR burping.
I could do ASMR and you could pick your earwax or whatever it is.
Delicious. All right, here we go.
Go ahead and read now, René.
I will, Brian.
Thank you.
Listen to my earwax. It's really flaky tonight. All right. So really quickly, this is what, this is in chronological order of events and different scenes that are going to that I need to get to get to the end of the movie. So initially this was just going to be like a scratch pad, like, oh, I got to add this character. And it eventually just turned into, well, let me just write the movie, but in truncated form. So here we go. Sam gets caught up on recent events. Sam communicates to Long that he will break him out. Nightfall, the town tries to go back to normal. Men at the bar develop Bill symptoms, Bill being the guy who spits, from drinking tainted beer, acidic spit. Courtesans yoo-hoo aggressively like a hunter's call. I think that's going to be like really cool looking when it's nighttime and like Patrick's walking up and then these girls, it's like licking their chops, right? And they start yoo-hooing. And then like girls come to the window and they're all yoo-hooing as well, like trying to draw these guys in.
Right.
I think that's going to be...
It's like a cross, when I'm picturing like a cross between a banshee and a siren.
Yes!
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Prophet demands Boone, who's the bank manager, show him his silver in the vault, because we have to remember that this evening is when the transport is coming, and Prophet just kind of, he wants to look at it, make sure it's safe. Stan and Everett patrol together, thinking everything is under control, returning to normal.
So can I pause for a second?
Of course.
One thing that surprised me when I read this, because of where the movie was going and where our discussion was going, I didn't realize that the heist was going to play back into the movie at all.
Oh,
I almost
really?
felt like, I felt like it was just going to be left behind, like we were all getting set up for the heist, and then it was just going to be dropped because of these extenuating circumstances. So I was kind of excited to see it come back.
Yeah.
Like, it's coming back in a big way too.
Totally. This is...
That was cool.
Yeah, I had that in mind since more or less the beginning, because Sam, the whole reason Sam is part of this and wants to save Long, it's not because he likes Long necessarily.
Right.
He wants money, right? So that's why I really played it up in the beginning about, like, I ain't no purse snatcher, Anyway, okay. So Sam sets the infected and undead free, who run amok. Yes.
So the very first thing you said with Sam, second thing is Sam communicates to Long that he'll break him out.
Yeah.
So Sam's going to go to the jail. I'm trying to remember where Sam is right now. Sam
is with Zeke and Sally.
Okay. And so he's going to be the only one who goes out to go to the jail. Just trying to understand how's that going to play.
So basically, once he learns that the plan to rob the bank is basically impossible, Sam's like, oh, screw that. Let's bust him out. Right? So Sam is gonna like. They don't know Sam. No one knows Sam, right?
Okay.
So Sam is just gonna kind of like saunter up to the side of the jail where the Long has the little window, and Sam's gonna start talking to him, and Long's gonna be like, "Oh, I know that voice," and Sam's gonna say, "Yeah, hey, I'm gonna bust you out. You just be ready. It's gonna happen tonight." And Long feels like, "Oh, okay, sounds good." So there you go.
Okay. So I like the idea of, Sam kind of recentering the movie as the heist, and maybe he gets like into an argument with Zeke and Sally about it. They're like, "Do you not know what's going on right now? Have you not seen anything?" And he's like, "I don't care about any of that."
Right. Exactly.
We're about to get paid, yo.
Bingo. Yeah, yo. Authentic Western vernacular.
Yeah. Y'all, we got to get paid, y'all.
Hey, that works. That works, see? Just takes a little bit of massaging. Okay. So, yes. So now it's nighttime. Sam sets the infected and undead free who run amok, eating or chasing off horses.
Okay, so the reason he does that is diversionary, or?
Yes.
Okay.
And this will showcase the infected doing their thing. Like, we get to see all the different, like, the headbangers, the yoo-hoos, the spitters, and then also just your basic zombies.
Right, the ones who've been twice turned.
Yeah.
Twice baked potatoes.
Exactly. Yes.
So Everett's going to be patrolling with Stan just because, maybe he's men down, or maybe because there's, any law enforcement is good. Because Everett wouldn't usually patrol, right?
Right, yeah. I just figure, now that there's this problem, a big problem in town, it makes sense that, you got two lawmen. Why not travel together? Make sure everyone is, like, calm.
Right. Okay.
So once the method of transportation out of the town is cut off, and people realize this is a big problem, I want to reestablish. I know it says establish, but I want to reestablish how remote this town is, and that the next reasonable way to get out is via train, and that won't happen until the next morning.
Your director is going to do that anyway. There'll be some really long establishing shots.
Totally.
So yeah, but that's good.
And so now that there are a lot of problems, because you got all this infected running around, now we're going to have the outpost soldiers. Now it's not a fort, right? It's just like maybe 20 guys at most. And they're going to try to, do what they can against these attackers, but they decide they're going to hole up at the outpost in the center of town. And this is, of course, where survivors are going to congregate, because it just makes sense. And we can reestablish Jimmy and Sarah as recurring characters throughout the movie.
So I apologize for not remembering this, but the soldiers that are here, where were they before?
Well, they were here the whole time. They were here before. They have not had a major role really in anything, because there really hasn't been a need for them to show up and do anything other than just, if there are Indian attackers on the town, of course they will provide the force to protect the town. I did add them in a new edition for the abandoned storefront, so they are the ones who are corralling the undead.
Okay,
so
but
now,
these are
what's that?
Are these soldiers that are stationed over at the fort, but they work in Epitaph, or they're just positioned in Epitaph?
That's kind of I assume that's how it works. I didn't research that.
Okay. I'm with you. Go ahead.
Okay, so Jimmy and Sarah, they are some of the survivors, and we see that some of the soldiers are infected due to like wounds, right? Like, we as the audience know, that guy has a bite. That's going to be a problem, even though he's not symptomatic yet, or he's not showing symptoms.
Yeah.
Like maybe, the guys are, on the wall of this little outpost, and this guy's kind of like scratching at this like bite mark on his neck or on his hand or something. right? Okay, so now we go to the hotel. I have these double spaces, double paragraph breaks to kind of group the scenes together. So this sequence is we're at the hotel. Ray, Maggie, and Tommy are laying low because they're hearing pandemonium is breaking loose in the town, and there's commotion in the hotel. And then we cut to the jail. Carl wakes as an infected, and he attacks Long. Long is able to subdue him, but then he hears pounding on the jail door. And then back at the hotel, there's gunfire in the lobby, and someone pounds on Maggie's door trying to break in. Now, it would probably stand to reason that whoever's trying to break in would say something, like if they're a human being, like, Maggie, are you in there? You know, something like that. I don't know if that's going to happen. But anyway, so someone's trying to break in. The audience is meant to think, uh-oh, zombies, bad guys are trying to break in. The door gives way to reveal Stan. And you would think it would be Everett, but it's Stan who's saving them. Maggie asks, where's Everett? So now we're back at the jail, and the door gives in, and you think, oh, Everett's here to save Long. No, it's these headbangers, the guys who smash their heads against stuff. So they rush the cell, ramming it with their faces, and they're like so forceful that the bars are coming off, like whatever the anchor points are. I don't know what those are called. The anchor points are of the bars are coming loose.
Yeah,
so now,
just the bolts.
What's that?
Just the bolts coming off the cement or whatever.
Yeah, I just
breaking loose.
Wasn't sure if there was a technical name.
Yeah.
So now, the bars are like, coming closer to Long, and he's more or less helpless as these guys, like, their arms are. I think that'd be a cool shot where the bars are like this far from his face, and like arms are like reaching for him.
Yeah.
And then that's when Everett comes in, and he starts blasting them away. Boom, 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 and so the headbangers go down. Now, while that's happening at the bank, Prophet is, he's in the vault. He's admiring the silver. Boone is just outside the vault, and he's letting, here he describes how airtight the vault is. No one touched your silver, right? And the Prophet is in there with his lantern, like looking at it, like watching it glisten, like, yeah, I'm man, right? And then, Boone, he looks over, and I think there will probably be a contingent of local guards who are meant to receive the transport, but they're going to be lured away. Going back to that whole hunter's lore of these yoo-hoos, like we'll have them like down like an alley or whatever, like yoo-hoo, right? And the guards kind of get lured away to get their throats slashed out, right? And so when Boone turns and he sees that they're missing, one of these yoo-hoos is in the doorway, and she's all like lit up in that, that glitter, that stripper glitter. You know what I mean?
Slitter.
Exactly. And then they all jump on him like piranhas, and they just start like ripping the flesh off of him. And Prophet, he gets freaked out, and he shuts the vault, right? Shuts the door and traps himself inside. I mean, there's going to be like a little handle on the inside. I assume that's how it works. But he can just hear Boone screaming on the other side of this vault, trying to claw his way in.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think, 20 minutes into the future that he's going to run out of air. I don't know if it takes 20 minutes, probably a little longer. But basically when we cut back, there's going to be a shot where his lantern goes out, right? Like it gets dimmer and dimmer, and he realizes that there's not enough oxygen for his little flame. Right. And then you start hearing him gasp, and then it's totally dark. So just hang on to that idea. So Boone is devoured. Everett and Long, they sneak into Porter's goods, and maybe there's a little exchange there where Everett explains, because Long wants to know, like, I can't believe you saved me, Marshal. You watched my back. Whatever. Anyway, that's not the judgment of the law. No man should die like that. And they hear this noise. I don't know if that's the dialogue, but I'm just saying. They hear this noise in the back, and they see it's Father Espinoza, who has killed Porter because he had been attacked, right? and Father Espinosa is feeling guilty, and so he's praying over the dead body. And, Father Espinosa says, you know what, I need to gather my flock. They need guidance, whatever. I was toying with this idea that Father Espinosa was going to rely on his relationship with God to be protected. And then, he would go out there thinking, God will protect me. And then he gets eaten alive. And then I wanted to have this little funny scene where Everett and Stan and Long are just looking out the window like, and then Long says, that's why I'm a Buddhist or something like that, right? But I don't know if that makes any sense. I just wanted to have that little dig. Anyway, I took all of that out. That's all. That's gone because I didn't think that was really appropriate for what I was trying to do here.
So remind me real quick. They're in Porter's Goods, and have we seen Porter?
No. Never.
Okay, so
I mean, not that I call him out, but why not? I mean, you can have him in the background. He doesn't do anything.
Okay, I just stumbled on it earlier, so I was like, I don't remember this guy.
Okay. So at the hotel, this is where I started just writing the movie, as you can see. At the hotel room, Stan hears Everett on the other side of the door, lets him in. Is surprised to see Long. There's a small argument about his presence, and the noise attracts infected who rush the room. Stan gets pinned by some furniture, like an armoire or something, falls on him, and he's like, and it's really heavy, let's say. Everett and Ray try to keep the door shut, and then 5 infected break through the windows. Long calls for a gun, and now he's still manacled, right? No one wants to give him a gun because they know, well, he's a killer. He'll probably just kill us. Why would we give him a gun? And so it's Tommy, the Maggie's 7-year-old kid, who grabs a gun and tosses it to Long at the last moment, and Long finishes off the attackers. So there were 5 attackers. Revolver holds 6 bullets, so now he has 1 bullet left. Once the attack is defended, Everett demands the gun back, but Long is reluctant. Stan threatens him, but Long says he could still kill one of them with the last bullet. Stan replies, you can shoot either Everett or me. Whoever's left standing kills you. So then Long points the gun to Tommy, right? Which puts everybody on edge. Like, oh, this guy, like checkmate, right?
Yeah.
But because Long, that's not Long's style. Like, obviously he has a code, right? He doesn't kill people who are unarmed. He doesn't kill children, doesn't kill women. So he just wants to show them that, hey, I have the power right now to kill you without actually killing you, which is why, I don't have kids, but if I am being threatened by someone who does have kids, I just threaten their kids.
Yeah.
That's like my go-to.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm not vulnerable that way.
I think it played really well, actually. A thought about this, with the 5 guys coming in, he's got the 6 or the 5. Excuse me, the 5 bullets. So he kills all of them. When I first read it, I was thinking that he's in such close quarters with these guys, and he could definitely kill Stan or Everett. He could definitely take one of them down, regardless of how many bullets he has and how superhuman he is with a gun. Yeah, he's close quarters, and one of them is going to kill him. So I don't know if it's even necessary that it's a last bullet type of thing. He could have a full clip at that point, realistically. Yeah. He's only going to kill one because they're right there. They could both be pointing their guns right at him. So yeah, take one of us out. You're not going to get us both. I kind of pictured almost like in this triangle. You know what I mean? Right. It's like he's got to go boom, boom. By that time, he's dead. I don't care how fast you are. It's just not going to work. So I don't know if it's really necessary to have the 5. You can if you want to, but I think it'll play either way. I hear you. Because I think the emotional center of this is what Long does, and then doesn't. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, you know what? I think if someone asked me, René, as a screenwriter, what is your biggest strength? And the first thought that came to my mind was, I write really well for dumb people. And so, and what I mean by that is I make it very obvious, what the parameters are here, what the restraints are within the the logic of the film. Yeah. And so I think if I was writing for a more intelligent audience, Brian, I think that would make what you just said is that's perfect. Of course, I would love to do it that way. But I think I also need to write for the lowest common denominator guy who's halfway
watching the movie and texting, you know, at the same time. Like, oh, well, he's got a lot of bullets left. He'll be fine.
That is not your audience. It's not your audience, Renee.
Hey, man, if
Disagree.
you want to write for Hollywood, this is what you got to do. All right. Okay, so Stan wants to execute Long, but Everett stops him. And this is where the whole, law is the light speech that Everett's going to give about how, when you're surrounded by darkness, you have to be the light, and the law is your candle in the night. That's basically the gist of what he's going to say.
Yeah, basically, you know how I asked for Long to pick up Bow's salt shaker or whatever it was earlier and put it right? Those little things. I think it'd be cool if, later when we see Everett rising from the undead or as an undead, if the light, like a flame or something like that goes out as well. You know what I mean? Kind of setting the mode like, oh, the light has just literally gone out from the guy who gave that speech.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That could work because there's fire everywhere at this point.
Right.
Dude, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. I'll work it in, Brian.
Cool.
I'll work it in.
Yeah, you will.
Don't mind your parents listening to that kind of talk.
What do you mean? Work it in. Get it in the script.
All right, control. Okay. So the survivors hole up, and Maggie's tending to wounds. This is just going to be more like scrapes and scratches, that kind of thing, from like broken glass. And this is where we can kind of humanize Long a little bit. And she's going to ask, like, how did you become an outlaw? Were you always an outlaw, kind of thing, or whatever? Because he legitimately just saved their lives, right? So I think it makes sense that she, being kind of a neutral party and having a real reason to be thankful, would be the one to draw this out of Long. And get this
plus
backstory.
He's got a relationship with women, and so he's he's got a respect for women. He's not going to kill them.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I think it, definitely played all right.
So this is where the flashbacks are going to come in. I think it's not a bad place to insert them. I was thinking of having them inserted at different times. Like we get Long's backstory, and then later we get Everett's version of it. But as I was writing this, I was like, there's no time to fit Everett's. Like I can't just stop and say, oh, hey, I know we're in this big like third act climax, but hey, let's pause. Let's pause and have Everett tell us a story. Gather around, everybody. The zombies all gathering around. Oh, I love stories.
So are we not going to get Everett's backstory?
It's going to happen here.
Oh, Everett's is going to come here too.
Yeah. So
I see. So we're going to see both here.
Yeah, Long's going to tell his story. I don't know if we're going to come out of it or not, and, or if it's just going to be one full thing, and then Long, he just realizes, oh my God, I didn't know that your family died on that train. Because doesn't it feel kind of weird to, like, we're in a flashback, we come out of it, and then, and then what? Everett's like, that's what you think happened? Is that it? That's where your story ends? That's where my story's just beginning. You know what I mean? It's just kind of weird.
Okay, so let's just talk functionally. I like the idea of something like this, a soft scene where he's explaining something as a break from the action that just took place.
Yeah.
I think you have to have that ebb and flow with an action movie. That being said, I also think I don't have a problem with breaking into the third act where it's balls out, and because if there's something that triggers that feeling in Everett, specifically with regards to Maggie and Tommy being threatened, losing the woman and the child.
Yeah.
That really draws it out for him. Like this isn't going to happen again, and however that takes place. And I know that's not 100% helpful, but I think it'll even raise the emotional stakes rather than just the physical stakes of them trying to stay alive. I mean, maybe they're huddled together at some point. Maybe there's just a moment where they can have that discussion, like why, what is it why is this so important to you, or why is she so important to you, or maybe he's explaining to her specifically, and while he's explaining, I've lost people close to me, I've lost, I've already lost one family, whatever it is. I think that it just, you're kind of like, you keep raising the stakes, and I think it actually would be great to see that as a payoff for the Act 3 too, because at this point you're really feeling more, like, hey, Long's actually a pretty good guy, he's got reason for what he's doing, and we're not seeing the whole story. I like a story that unfolds.
All right, I found a perfect place for it. Let's do that. I'll split it up.
Okay.
So this is where I thought I would only have rough ideas, but they're actually kind of fleshed out. So quote unquote rough ideas. So the group has to get separated. See, this is, you can tell I thought it was going to be rough, because it's just like Cro-Magnon man talk, and I'm just telling you what needs to happen. So group has to get separated into Stan, Ray, Maggie, Tommy as Team 1, and Everett and Long as Team 2. My idea was that maybe there's an attack that separates them. Mm-hmm. Or, that allows Long to escape, and Everett's like, no, he's not getting away from me, chases after him, and Stan says, oh, well, I'm getting these guys to safety, let's go to the outpost. So when Everett catches up to Long, Everett is ambushed by Team 3, which is the bad guys, Sam, Zeke, and Sally. Long is freed, and now Everett is, he's in the minority here. But instead of the bad guys killing Everett, Long sticks up for him, essentially as like a professional courtesy, because Everett stood up for him when Stan wanted to kill him. So, Team 3 decide to force Everett to go with them to the bank. He's not going to help them rob it, but basically, I don't understand how this is going to work yet, but Everett gets dragged along. I don't know if that makes sense or what. Like maybe he gets put in chains. I don't know.
Yeah. So a couple things on this. I feel like there are some parallel ideas here that I'm hoping become even more prevalent. Like there's a single-mindedness that Sam has in terms of wanting to get the money, and he's going to go after that no matter what it takes. He's like, we're going to stay on task here. And I don't know if Long is going to have that kind of motivation as well here, but I like the idea of that happening. And at the same time, Everett has his single-mindedness. Like, if he is trying to get away, it's like, no, I don't care what's going on around me. I'm this close. I'm not going to let this guy get away. I'm this close. I'm not going to let this money get away. I'm not going to let this criminal get away. I like that idea of these two driven, people going after what they want, even though they're disparate things. I like the idea that they're both going after what they want, even though at the end of the day, neither of them is going to get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a cool idea. And I also liked when I read this, I was like, that is so cool that now Everett is kind of in Long's position, and we're getting that kind of mirror or that parallel story going on. And let's see how he reacts in this situation. So I kind of took it as, it's now 4-on-1. These 4 are armed. They can easily disarm him. And they're not going to let him out of his sight, because Long won't let that happen, because he is a bit of a humanitarian, just like Everett saved him. No man should die like that. Maybe he can have a line like that. Even a lawman shouldn't die like that, or something. Yeah. But I like all these little parallel things that are happening and kind of diverting power.
Exactly.
I think that's really cool.
Well, it's inspired by that movie I told you about, Brian. This is not exactly how they did it, but I just like that shifting of power, and I hope you'll watch that movie with me, because I think you'll really like it.
This is the Horde?
Yeah. Or just watch it on your own, whatever. Anyway. Okay. So, yeah, he'll go with them. Okay, so the reason that Long at this point doesn't really care about the silver. Long wants to get out of town. I didn't write it here, but the motivation is that there is a transport coming in. And this is a transportation out of the town. They just have to be able to secure it from the men who are bringing it. And then they can all leave. They can all, they don't have to run through the desert on foot 200 miles to the next town. All right, so Team 3, which is the bad guys, Team 3 looks for Boone to open the vault, which was the original plan. So they go to the apartment above the bank, and of course Boone isn't there because he's already dead. But Patrick is there because he wanted to check on Mr. Boone, right? Loyal employee. They drag Patrick down to the bank thinking he can do something, but he doesn't know the combination. So Sam, he's getting really frustrated because the plan B was to blow up the vault with dynamite, but Bao is dead. So now it seems like there's no way to get to the silver. And so Sam's getting increasingly frustrated. He wants to kill Patrick. Maybe he's beating on him a little bit. And then, Long won't let him kill Patrick. Right? Maybe he's drawn his gun on Sam, and now Sam's like, you're going to take his side or whatever. And this is when Prophet, who is now a zombie, opens the vault. And we'll just say it's like really a well-oiled vault. So the door opens silently. And so we find out that Prophet is a zombie, and he attacks Sam from behind, and so Sam gets killed.
So how did Prophet become a zombie? I know why he died because of suffocation, but was he injured before that? Did I miss that?
No. Why, as the author of this universe?
Yeah.
We'll just say he was affected by the Indian curse, or
so anyone who dies right now is going to be affected, regardless of if you're. Because I thought if you were cut of some sort.
Maybe he drank some of the water.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I added all these different things that could have affected the people.
Yeah.
The only one that we can't really explain is the first soldier.
Right.
Okay, I'll throw in a line where Prophet says, I just had a big glass of water, some of that well water. Now I want to look at my silver.
He couldn't get his hands on any of those emeralds, could he?
I suppose it's possible, but I didn't consider that.
Just because he's always after the valuable, metals.
Yeah.
I don't know if he, or maybe there wouldn't be any in the vault.
It's what I could do is instead of Bud and Bill taking the jewels home, they take them to the bank.
Right.
And then, they say, put it in the vault. And so when Prophet goes in there, it's like, what the hell is this? He's all playing with it. Oh, emeralds. Or something. I don't know.
Glowy emeralds.
Exactly. That's normal.
The light goes out. They're still glowing.
And they could even say like there's a sign, like it's on just a small part of the shelf, and it's for Bud and Bill.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, I can't believe they found something in that mine. Like he's all upset about it. I could have that just to give it, some connective tissue that, hey, this is not just, there's a little more connection between these guys. Like, I've established a rivalry between these prospectors.
Right.
This will be kind of the culmination and their final revenge on him, even though they're already monsters themselves.
Yeah, even like he could be moving the emeralds over, when Boone's still alive.
Yeah.
But his back is turned or something, and he's like, just putting it in his own pile, for example.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Greed kills.
Oh.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, if I have enough I'm going to park that, Brian. If there's enough pages. All right. So Sally, who's the lookout at this point, calls out that the stagecoach transport, she sees them in the distance and they have lanterns on the stagecoach, I'm assuming, for the silver is approaching in the distance. And remember, it's black in the desert, right? Anything outside of town is just black. So she can see them coming. Team 3 watches, Long's like, all right, this is it. We're going to get out of here. We're going to make it, right? But then he sees that they stop and then they get turned around in the darkness. And they're like, what the hell? And that's when they see that bonfires start getting lit up around the town. And that's how we know as the audience that the army has arrived. And maybe we can cut to the army in the desert setting them up, and you got Jebediah like, all right, you men spread out 50 yards a piece or whatever, right? Get those Gatling guns over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I think we need to get back to Jebediah at that point.
Just so I can do that voice. Okay. And then,
so quick question logistically about the stagecoach. When we talked about it earlier, did you mention that it was going to be coming at night?
Yeah.
Number one. And number two, would anyone be traveling at night with horses through areas that are unlit?
Well, I don't know. I want to say that because Prophet these are like mercenaries essentially, like they are private security. Because Prophet, who is relatively wealthy, has paid for their services to be here as fast as possible, that they would do whatever they could to do that.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Not a huge point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Father Espinoza, who has gathered his parish, he sees the fires and he thinks, there are people out there to protect us. And he leads his parish out to them down a main road. And this is when Long's team sees them get mowed down by Gatling guns. And Father Espinosa's like, we're safe. We're not sick or whatever, like, our saviors, thank you. Praise be to God. And then, just his body dancing from bullets.
Right. In the shape of a cross.
Yeah.
On his riddled body.
Yeah, and then we cut to Jones, and he crosses himself. You know what I mean? All right. So that's now we as the audience realize, all right, so now people in the town have not just the undead and this disease to contend with. Now they have a human factor, which is probably the worst factor of the worst variable of all the bad variables they're dealing with. And this is probably where Long will realize, hey, we've got one last shot. We got to use the secret passage at Sally's. And so that's when they kind of split up, and he basically tells them, okay, wait, let's back up here. Everett realized that the outpost soldiers will lead. Okay, so Everett realizes that since Stan and his love interest have gone to the outpost, that the outpost soldiers, once they see the army is there, that they're going to go, the outpost is going to have everybody go to the army, and they're just going to get slaughtered. So Everett is like, no, I got to save these people. And this is where Long splits up his team. He tells Zeke and Sally to be ready for them at the saloon so they can get out of here through the secret passageway. And Patrick is going to go with them. And this is probably where I would insert Everett's flashback. Like, Long's like, we have a chance to get out of here and survive. Let's go, right? And Everett's like, no, I let some people down before. Or whatever.
People you know.
Yeah, people you kill.
Better than you realize.
Exactly. Look at my pocket watch.
Okay, I'm a little bit lost here.
Okay.
Just so Everett realizes that the outpost soldiers will lead survivors out
to the army.
So the army's not just going to kill everyone; they're going to let their people back, you're saying?
No. The outpost soldiers don't know that the army is killing people.
Okay.
They think that, hey, these guys are from the fort. The outpost soldiers, possibly they're from the fort. These are people we know. We are the survivors. Let's go out and they'll protect us. But what they don't know is that once the army sees them, army's going to just kill everybody.
Okay.
So that's why Everett is worried that, wait a second, if Maggie's with them, they're all going to just get killed.
I see. Okay. So he thinks they're going to rejoin and take Maggie and Ray.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha now. agrees to go with Everett to save Team 1. So why does Long do that?
Well, now it's because Everett tells him about his flashback.
Okay. So he's feeling... Is it guilt, or is it that he feels like he owes him?
So I'm hoping at this point that, Long and he
buddy.
have kind of like got that buddy cop thing going on. Now, maybe it's not strong enough at this point, but I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping he was moved by the whole light in the darkness speech. Maybe he can even say something like that. Like Everett can be like, "Why are you helping me?" And Long can be like, "Well, your light in the darkness speech really moved me."
Even though I'm a Buddhist.
Exactly.
I think something's going to happen between Everett being forced to help them rob the bank or go along with them and this point, so that we show that Long is going to give him some rope, basically. I don't know if he gives him his gun back, that we're all in this together once the bank is, no longer in play.
Who gives who his gun back?
Long gives Everett his gun back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that, this shows that there is some professional respect, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, as Patrick, Zeke, and Sally head to the... It's so good.
This guy.
Patrick is
where you got in a really fun mood.
Patrick is separated when Plain Jane attacks. She chases him, and eventually, I can see this. We're going to revisit the whole, they're walking along, and it's he's on the far left of the frame, and then he looks to his right, and then the camera suddenly moves like this, and Plain Jane is right there in his face. Right. Ah! It's going to be so good.
Especially if he's just like, oh, God. Rolling his eyes as he's, just getting limbs ripped.
Yeah.
Might take us out of the movie a little bit, but would be really funny.
So she chases him and eventually corners him, ripping off his limbs in a macabre he loves me not game. Finally ending on he loves me when she takes his head.
Only you, man. Only you.
Here's the thing, man. People want violence in horror movies.
Yeah,
you need to have it.
I had no problem with any of that.
Well, I'm just saying.
It's funny. I laughed. So, that's what, right?
I don't know how she's going to do it, though. Does she have a weapon? Or has
no.
With her claws? Just rah!
She pulls limbs, man. She's just superhuman strength. Speaking of claws, by the way, your yoo-hoos.
Yeah.
I don't know if I guess when in my own little head canon here, I was thinking that one of the things that they're going to be doing is showing that they've got these beautiful long nails, as these women, and then I don't know if the nails actually grow into something or they sharpen or whatever. Maybe they're nothing and they just start using them as talons almost.
That's what. Yeah. No. Totally. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if their bones are exposed now and they've been sharpened from clawing at stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we'll see. I'm still toying with that. All right, man. Jesus, look at all of this. Just a wall of text, Brian. Just a wall of text.
Is hour 3 of the movie.
I know.
And in hour 3,
dude, I'll be writing in shorthand
after intermission.
Have you ever watched a movie that had intermission?
When I was young, I think there were some.
Dude, there's a movie called I think it's called Civil War or Gettysburg. I think it was called Gettysburg.
Ugh.
And I studied Gettysburg. I love that battle, right? And it's a 4-hour-long movie, and there's an actual intermission. Anyway, that's another story. So,
like our show has for one of us.
What?
I said like our show has for one of us.
Yes, correct. Correct. All right. So Everett and Long pick up Chief and Mortimer. So they as they are going on their way, they run into these other survivors. Kind of want to have Chief with just a wood cutting axe, right? Or maybe a log splitting axe, and he's just taking down dudes, right? He's this force to be reckoned with. And then there's Mortimer, who's just this dumpy guy, and he gets saved. But Chief has also been fighting, right? So his knuckles are bloody from punching the undead, and their blood is mixed with his blood. So it's not a bite. It's not a traditional like infection that we as an audience are familiar with. So I don't want the audience to like really think much of it, right? And I think that'll be a neat kind of reveal later when they talk to Doc. Anyway, so once again, these were rough ideas, so I wasn't sure what I was going to do here. So I just wrote Mortimer dies in some fantastic fashion. But then I thought, oh, it'd be great if he ran to the Yoo-Hoos. This is where we could have it. And what I'm envisioning now is that he is being chased by just regular infected, and he kind of hides in the shadow of this alley, and he thinks he's safe because these infected run by. But then, he sees in the distance like just this outline of a speckled body, and we've been trained to know that those are the Yoo-Hoos. And then she gives a Yoo-Hoo call, and then all these other bodies like step into the alley, and they all just start Yoo-Hoo, Yoo-Hoo. It just echoes down. Right? Yeah. I think that'll be awesome. Yeah. And I would like there to be like a shaft of light between the Yoo-Hoos where they're hidden in the shadows and where Mortimer is, so that when they come running at him, we, the audience, get to see what they look like now. And because they've been eating all these men, like they're no longer voluptuous in the way that we want them. The curves are all in the wrong places now. You know what I mean? Right. Just like distended bellies, like it'd be so awesome.
But they still got like the netting on their legs.
Of course. Yeah, it's gonna be so good. So Mortimer's gonna die. It's not in any kind of like ironic way. He just dies. Whatever. Okay. So then we cut to the outpost, which is also overrun because the infected soldiers have they've turned. Sarah and Jimmy, they manage to escape. They go in a different direction. Team 1, which is Stan and et al., they run in a different direction. They end up in the schoolhouse. In one of those situations where they're like backing in, right? Like, okay, we've lost them, right? And they're backing in. And when they turn, we see all the kids are at their desks. And maybe like the room is littered with like the bodies of their parents or something, right? And all the kids are just at their desks, like bloody mouths, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe badass. And then they start doing the whole, going through the alphabet.
Yeah.
And then it's kid smashing time. By this time, maybe Maggie's picked up a shovel and she's just smashing faces, Ray's picking them up by their legs and like swinging them around. You know what I mean? I don't like kids, Brian. I don't know what to tell you.
It's your movie, buddy.
All right. Well, maybe we'll tone it down. We'll see. Okay, this is where McBully gets killed.
Yeah.
You get that Sigourney Weaver moment. Get away from her, you bitch.
There you go.
I love that line. All right, so after that, Team 1 and Team 2, they meet up and they agree. Everyone puts their differences aside, more or less. Maybe there's a little bit of tension between Long and Stan. I don't know yet. They agree that they need to fight their way to the saloon area, but go to 9 Lives first because they got to save Rebecca. But first they got to tool up at the gun shop. Now, one of the things on my to-do list, I didn't put it here because I kind of forgot about it, but I was thinking maybe I need to introduce like a smaller character who owns the gun shop. Just so that they can reference it like, we got to go to Tony's or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. What do I need? Guns. Lots of guns.
Neo, this has never worked before. Or, no, I'm sorry. No one has ever tried this before. That's why it's going to work. I'm like, what? How does that make any sense? Anyway, still love that movie.
Neo, this is just a great movie. Deal with it.
Exactly.
So they're all going to go to the 9 Lives and save Rebecca first?
Yes. Well, they're going to go to the saloon. 9 Lives is across the street, so why not, is the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like out of the way.
I thought it was just because the crazy Yoo-Hoos were at least starting there. Maybe they're all littered in the streets now, but...
What's the resistance here, Brian?
The the only one who would really want to go save Rebecca would be Stan, right? And maybe Everett.
Yeah.
I don't know if the other ones would be like, that's cool. I'll let you know where the secret passage is.
Well, I mean, I hear you. I just feel like they're a team now. It's like they're not just gonna be like, well, check you later.
Lates.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, question mark on if I add a character for the gun shop. It just kind of feels weird and arbitrary. Like, we got to get some tools. They all turn. There's like guns and ammo. It's like behind them. Oh, that place. I totally forgot about that place. Why don't we just go there?
I mean, in one of those early scenes, you could always have some of Stan's guys going to Porter's and some going to the tool shop or some going to the gun shop to get ammo or something.
Yeah.
Just to kind of set it up. I don't know if you really need a character necessarily. Feels like we have a lot of characters already that are named.
Right.
I'm forgetting a few of them. Like sometimes I trip over like Mortimer. Which one's he? Or Rebecca? Oh yeah, Rebecca. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right. No, totally.
Just because they're like almost third tier at this point.
All right. So, I think it's enough that they just say, we need some firepower, and they all turn.
Yeah. Do they need guns or do they need ammo?
Both. I mean, I want Rebecca. I want Maggie here to have a rifle.
Porter's may have it in the back. Something.
I mean, it's possible, but
I mean, just trying to limit the amount of.
We got a getting ready montage here, bro. We need that. We need the getting ready montage.
At the 200 minute.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know what? This movie,
it out, you'd be like, dang, there's a lot of stuff here.
Dude, it's going to fly by when you're watching it, even though it's 2.5 hours. Be like, oh, man, I could have gone for 3.
2.5 hours.
I can't wait for the director's cut. All right.
The writer's cut.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so they have the getting ready montage. We got bluegrass version of AC/DC Back in Black. I'll try to rush this for you, Brian. I know you got to go here, so. Or you want to just
read it, dude.
You sure? You want to just continue this later?
No, just read through it.
All right, here we go. They stand on the roof and they agree on the battle plans. They fight their way to Doc Murphy's. Inside, they find Doc standing over the beheaded body of Claudette. Doc is holding a bone saw and his back is to the survivors. He explains how Claudette bought a love potion from Petrov. This is what the whole thing with Petrov was, because she was feeling neglected. She thought, hey, let me win his love back through this love potion. But it changed her. And she tried to kiss me on the cheek. And he had to kill her by beheading her, sadly. And this is where he explains the infection spreads through the blood and saliva. And he turns slightly, so we don't really see his full face. But he sees Chief's hand. And he's like, he's starting to turn because... that's what's being hinted at. You're infected. That arm needs to go. And when he turns, he's missing half his face because that's where Claudette bit him, kissing him on the cheek. And so Stan kills him. That draws the infected in the area, and so they got to move on, and they herded 9 lives. So
plus, I see that part. Like he turns, he's missing half his cheek, and he fires up the bone saw too. To take off Chief's hand. That's when he gets shot. There's a lot of noise then, right?
Well, the bone saw, it's not powered. It's just a saw.
Oh. What's a bone saw then? What does that mean? What is that?
It's a saw that cuts through bone.
I don't know what it is.
What is it, crank?
Is it like this? Just a saw?
It's just a saw. That's freaking Civil War, bro.
All right.
Yeah, that's why some people, you get shot in the limb, it sucked.
Ugh.
Yeah. Especially you didn't have any morphine. Oh, you just felt it all as they're sawing through your leg.
Whiskey.
Exactly. All right. So Long and Stan find Rebecca in her room, seemingly unharmed and not infected. Stan hugs her, but she eyes Long. Long shades the single lamp in the room with his hand for a moment to darken the room and finds that she's covered in the green meteorite dust. She looks like she's about to bite Stan, so Long shoots her in the head. Stan, of course, loses it, and he wants to kill Long, and he blocks the door with an arm war and starts choking Long. And, he's in such a rage that Long can't, fight him off. And, Long is about to die. Everett is trying to get into the room because the arm war is, blocking the door from opening all the way. He can only get his gun barrel through, and he shoots Stan in the back of the head. So, I don't know if that's going to work out, logically here. Would Everett... Well, whatever. We'll discuss it later. Anyway, so the commotion draws the hordes of...
So my only issue with that is, as I was looking for the big finales for the characters, I really wanted to see Everett and Stan argue it out one last time, not just him shoot him in the back of the head. I wanted him to make a judgment call, and have either the law on his side or have I'm not sure what exactly, but something where he can stand on the higher moral ground and actually consciously shoot him as a decision or kill him as a decision. I think that's just cool because I kind of want to see that, because there's been bickering and disagreements throughout the day or a couple days, whatever it's been. And to have it pay off like this, I was kind of bummed actually that's what he gets. You know what I mean? I want to see that last cool Everett, to Stan, you're just not getting it, or you're not the lawman I am speech. You know what I mean?
I don't know that there's time here, man. I mean, the momentum is going,
I know.
Maybe it can be a one-sided thing where Everett is yelling at Stan, moralizing with him, trying to convince him, don't do this.
Yeah, and Stan could just be losing. He killed my girl. He killed my girl. Just choking him.
Totally.
It's like it doesn't matter, or so, I don't know, something, just trying to calm him down, to finally just put him out. I like that. I do like the idea of just something there to kind of finish that relationship.
Yeah, no, it wasn't just going to be what's going on in this room? Boom! Exactly. Oh, that was Stan?
Damn it.
Do. Okay. Don't worry, that's going to be fleshed out a little bit. I'll add maybe 2 sentences once, because this is all happening on page 120, Brian. Realize this, okay? Okay, the commotion is drawn. Hordes of infected undead. Sarah and Jimmy run from the horde and meet up with the rest of the survivors. Everyone runs to the saloon, but Zeke panics when he sees the hordes approaching. He flees into the secret passage and bars the cellar doors behind him. Unfortunately, Sally has been drinking the tainted beer and kills Zeke. So maybe we could even have a thing where Long is running over there, right? And Zeke sees the hordes right behind them, and he starts freaking out. And we get that closing the door on Long's his face, the disappointed face, no. No?
Yeah, my head's somewhere else.
Okay.
My head is with Sally, just because there's not a lot that we see of her in the movie, but I really like her. You know what I mean?
She'll have more lines.
It's not just the voice that you did, but I mean, I like in the first 60 pages or whatever of the movie, I like her. She's just likable, and she's cool, and she's down to earth. And she's also the one who staved off execution.
Yeah.
So I kind of want her to be just a little bit stronger than the other people who get infected. She doesn't necessarily try to attack Zeke, but she pleads with him to kill her or something like that. Do it. Rather than attacking him, she stops herself, and begs him to kill her instead, which he does. But I like that, she's still, even now, this broad is going to die on her own terms. Even though she's been infected, she's got that. It's a little bit of a superhuman thing, I know, especially in the context of everything you laid out. But she's already positioned a little bit as someone who's already been bigger than life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, it's just something cool.
Well,
for her.
So she has to kill Zeke.
Oh, or maybe she kills herself or something. But whatever it is, I like the idea of. I guess that doesn't play as well if she's going to kill Zeke first.
So, I mean, I can work in the whole she's trying to control it and telling Zeke to kill her, and he can't do it, and so she ends up turning and killing him.
Yeah.
Would that be satisfactory?
Yeah, maybe it shows a little bit more depth between the two of them as well.
Yeah. Well,
I can't. And maybe it's even like, because it sounds like they kind of sass each other as well. And maybe, you know what I mean? Like the way they talk to each other, it could even get a little bit tender before it happens.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I'll work it out once I get there. I'll have about a line. It'll be dual dialogue, just like in Safe Space. They're talking over each other. All right. Survivor's Last Stand. As the women work on hacking, the doors open and the men hold off the undead. Chief gets drunk and grabs his tomahawks and goes to town because he's got the drinking superpower.
Yeah.
But he eventually turns and he kills Ray. So, I wasn't sure how Ray was going to die. Initially I thought Ray was going to be the guy who punched too many guys and now he's infected, but I think this is a more interesting way that he could have survived if it weren't for this essential betrayal by Chief, who couldn't help it, right? He did his best. Anyway, so Ray gets killed by Chief. Chief, I don't know who's going to kill him, but he's going to die here. And so the position gets overrun, but then Long sees Bao, and Bao reveals he still has the dynamite in his belt, and Long shoots it, blowing off the front of this bar, but also destroying the immediate threat.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason the other men survive is because they dive behind the bar as Long shoots the dynamite. I didn't write that here, but that's what happens. So a new horde is approaching, but that gives them enough time to get through the cellar doors. Sarah and Jimmy get through. Long goes through. Everett goes through, and he turns to help Maggie and Tommy.
Hold on. You're going so fast I can't keep up. Because my head is like, I'm absorbing stuff you've been saying.
Yeah.
So before you get to the survivors, run into Sally. Or wherever you are.
Okay.
So returning to Ray for a second.
Yeah.
It might be nice if Ray is killed by Chief while he's protecting Maggie and Tommy, specifically. Because he's working there voluntarily. He's not, indentured servant or a slave or anything like that. He's got a real relationship with them. I think it'd put a little emotion behind just him dying at the hands of Chief.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can make that happen.
Okay. So, where were you? I'm sorry.
I'll just start from the position, or the dynamite blowing up the bar.
Okay.
So, since the horde is now kind of stopped until the next wave, they're able to get through the door, hack their way through with the axes. So Sarah and Jimmy get through. Long goes through, Everett goes through, and he turns to help Maggie and Tommy go through.
Yeah.
Now, why they don't go through first? Plot convenience. Everett said, let me check it out. Let me check it out first. That's fine. Yeah. I like hanging out with the zombies. Or maybe Tommy's like, Ray, wake up, Ray, wake up, or something.
Right.
And Maggie's like, he's a zombie. He's a zombie now. Leave him alone.
Tommy, no, don't. And Tommy kills them both, essentially.
Exactly.
Kids.
All right, so...
Message of the movie, don't have kids. Got it.
Yeah, don't have kids, especially when there's a zombie apocalypse. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so as he's trying to help them go through, debris, because the building's on fire from the explosion, debris falls from the burning roof and blocks the way, but not completely, right? Everett can still see through the debris, and then the horde devours Maggie and Tommy.
Brutal.
Yeah. So then the survivors are running down the passageway. They run into Sally, who's got a kiss for Sally. And then Long shoots her. Kiss this, bitch.
I guess Sally's not going to be shooting herself.
Nope.
I get it.
Long shoots her in the face. And he tells Jimmy and Sarah to right away get on on Sam's cart, get out of here fast because the army, they're gonna have her. They must have heard that shot basically, and he flicks the wedding ring back at Jimmy.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ding.
Ian tells Marshall, let's go, Marshal. And so Marshall, or Everett, reminded of his loss because it's the exact same kind of situation. Everett can't let it go, and he reminds Long, like, you're still my prisoner, or whatever the dialogue's going to be here.
Yeah.
And Long's like, I can't let you take me in. And so there you go. They have their last duel. Long rides away in the sunrise, and Everett gets up as the undead. The end. I know, man.
That's like a half hour right there.
Dude, this is an entire movie. Entire movie right here. Oh, you mean just this last bit? Yeah, this is like half an hour. Dude.
Have a lot to write. This is going to be an interesting first edit when you're done.
It's going to be so sad, bro.
I know.
All like these great parts in the beginning. It's going to be truncated so badly.
Right. It's no longer a heist.
They're just meeting there for drinks.
Exactly. They're meeting at the bar called the Secret Entrance.
Sam comes in. I want my drinks, and I want a drink with Long. We're busting him out.
Wow. Well, I mean, honestly, looking at where you're going, I honestly think you figured it all out. Like, I don't have any notes for you per se, other than the things I gave you off the cuff. The thing that struck me as I was reading through this, in terms of, I always look, me, I'm always trying to look at movies and what they mean and, what they're trying to say. And at the end of this, with who survives, it's what Sarah and Jimmy and Long, essentially the three people who survive. And Sarah and Jimmy have such a bit part in this. They just like kind of come in the beginning and then they're there basically at the end. I know they're there in the wherever it was.
They're sporadic.
In the outpost or whatever, but they're not main players or anything.
No.
So it felt like he who does good deeds necessarily doesn't mean you're going to survive. There are lots of people trying to do the right thing or just trying to survive. So to me, it felt like there were some nihilistic type of there was definitely a theme of nihilism through here, but there was also ethics and morals playing on a personal level. So I don't know if you as the writer are trying to communicate something like that, or me as the reader typically is trying to just read into it a little bit. But I'm curious where your head is in terms of, I mean, honestly, the way this is playing out, this is your script. Anyone you want could survive.
Yeah.
Why those three? And why not others?
So, I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but there was a little bit as I kind of like stepped back and analyzed basically what you just said, right? So one message I want to get across, and I don't want to be heavy-handed about it, but basically that you don't have to be necessarily a good person to do good things, to do the right thing. That there's always the people are always presented with the opportunity to do the right thing, and it's just up to them to do it if they're going to do it. So you may have been like a criminal, just like a dirtbag your entire life, but now here's the opportunity to like save somebody or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can still do it, and you are being good in that moment. So that is the kind of a subtle message I'm conveying with Long, that here he is, essentially a cold-blooded killer, but in this situation, he's the right man to do the right thing. Okay. I don't know. Does that make sense to you for that, for Long? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So for Jimmy and Sarah, Basically, I wanted them to represent this kind of streak of innocence and goodness that's in everybody, and it's not necessarily through dumb luck, but they I wanted them to survive to remind the audience that, you know, good people should survive. Essentially, like, it makes us feel good to see that good, finds its way through dark situations, even though they're a small part. Like, I didn't want it to be like, well, look, they're good people, so nothing bad is ever going to happen to them. Like, they still have to struggle and survive, but it's just a streak that's running through this darkness.
Okay. I think the subtext of why they survive is because they're a happy couple and they don't have kids. Well,
there's that too. I think that's what Long is going to say, right? You know, promise me you won't have children.
He shoots him in the genitals.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm curious how you're going to handle the end, the duel, if it's going to be kind of like a traditional duel between the two of them, because I could almost see, based on like what you just said, something that might be interesting. And I have a feeling, knowing you've got like this end scene already figured out completely in your head. There are certain things I know that are milestones for you. And I'm guessing that's one of them. Like, you've got that last battle between them, that last fight. But I mean, to me, it would be really cool based on what you just said in terms of him being a guy who's not necessarily a good guy, but does the right thing. When he has the choice, he does the right thing. But once he realizes that Everett's not going to stop going after him, or he wants to take him down, just like as soon as he realizes that, just killing him, or incapacitating him somehow before it even becomes like a fair duel, because he's just like, I'm not a good guy. I helped you. I helped lots of people, or tried to help the people here today. I let these guys go, didn't keep their jewelry.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, I'm not a good guy. And it's kind of like that Han Solo Greedo thing where, I just kind of dug, the way it was originally done, that he's just like, no, this is like it's a simple decision for me, 1 + 2.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know how you're going to play it out, if it's going to be a little more of a speech centric type of thing. They're going to, spout some
Old West dialogue. Yeah. No, I get it.
But it might be cool, if it goes that way, and it leaves the audience a little bit like, oh, stunned. Like I really like this guy. At the end of the day, how do I feel about this guy?
Yeah.
Well,
so initially the idea was that we've just gone through this genre-bending story. It's a zombie movie now. I wanted to bring it back to the Old West, and the whole, like, they step away from the horses, right?
Sure.
They go to clearing or whatever. And it's just like the close-up on the eyeballs and all of that, right? The twitching.
Sure.
But then the more I thought about it, and the more kind of like realistic I was starting to make this, I thought it would be, Long is about to get on his horse, and his back is to Everett this whole time. And Everett's like, I can't let you go. And Long's like, I can't let you take me. Right? And maybe Everett's going to say he's going to start saying something. And Long just like turns and shoots him. Right? And to once again demonstrate that even though Everett has his gun already pulled on Long is so fast he can still kill him.
Yeah.
And there you go. He shoots him.
I would love that.
Maybe Long says something. I don't know. I would like for him to, basically.
You watch your back. You watch your back. You watch your back.
You are too busy watching my back. That's what you get. I suggested you to watch my back. That's how I win. These 5. Anyway, maybe I would want him to take the edge off, the audience thinking, wow, this guy's just such a dick. Like, I thought they were friends now. He just kills him like that. But I don't know what he could say.
Maybe that's when he tosses back the ring. you know, and lets the other two go. Maybe they're there, like in the outskirts. I don't know. I'm just saying, just to semi-redeem him. He's not just a jerk. You know?
But that's just like, I think that would make it worse. Because it's like, I just killed this guy. Hey, you guys take care. Here's your ring back.
Yeah.
You be safe.
Yeah, all right. You're not going to try to kill me now, are you? All right. Because if you were, you know, I'm pretty fast is all I'm saying.
Exactly.
He kills Jimmy and makes a move on Sarah.
Yeah. Kills their horses too. Boom! Boom!
He waits forever to turn into an undead and just shoots him in the head. Sequel my ass.